How is it that you said you know her in passing? How is it that you know her?
I've seen him for about 10 years. We have a boat. We go boating and see him on the river. Say hi, bye.
On February 15th, 1998, that you have an occasion to see her.
Yes, I did.
What was that in relation to?
She called me and said that Brian had beat her up. Would I come and get her?
And did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did you eventually return to a location to pick up some clothes with her?
Yes, I did.
Whose house was that?
I'm not sure if it's hers or his.
Okay. Is that location in Hillsborough County, though?
Yes, it is.
What happened when you got to that location?
I walked to the door with her. I went in the house. I never shut the door. I just kind of had my hand on the door because I realized that he was there, which I didn't know he was there because I've never been there before.
Let me stop you. When you say he, who are you referring to?
Brian was there. He was asleep on the couch.
Okay.
And when we walked in the door, she walked directly to him and open-handedly smacked him in the head. And then woke up because he was startled, and she started gathering some clothes, and she came back and she smacked him again. And the third time, I started, when she walked to him again, she reached and snatched something out of his pocket, and I saw him get up off the couch, and I went out the door. And she came out the door running. They were chasing each other, and those two started fighting back and forth.
Let me stop you for 1 second. When you say somebody was chasing somebody, who was chasing whom?
Brian jumped up off the couch and ran after Vicky out the door.
Did he eventually catch up to her?
Yes.
What did he do when he caught up to her?
Started punching her.
And at the time that he grabbed her and started punching her, what was she trying to do? Could you tell what she was trying to do?
She was fighting back with him.
When you saw this, what did you do?
I said to Brian, which I'd never spoken to him before until then, I said, she's a woman, you can't hit her, you know she's going to call the law and you're going to go to jail.
What did he do?
He looked at me, called me a worthless whore, and punched me in my face.
Did you, Miss Slocum, try to leave at that point?
When he punched me, I kicked at him and turned around and ran to my car.
Did you eventually get in your car?
Yes, I did.
What happened at the car?
When I got in the car, I seen my windshield was busted.
Okay, when you say you seen your windshield was busted, how did that happen? Did you see how that happened?
I don't know which, one threw something and the other threw something and it was busted.
Okay. Was it your front windshield? Do you know which of the two broke the windshield?
I don't know which one of them.
Do you see the person that struck you and Ms. Slocum in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point to him and describe what he's wearing?
He's right there with the striped shirt.
Record reflects identify the defendant. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Do you have any questions?
You say that I was striking Vicky. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, when I struck you, was there any reason behind it?
I spoke to you and said, you're going to go to jail, and you punched me.
And you didn't kick me in the groin first.
Not first. After you punched me, I most certainly did.
You're saying that I broke the windshield in the car.
I said, I don't know which one did.
You don't know who broke the windshield?
That's what I said.
Are you sure?
Don't argue with her answers. You gotta accept her answer. I decide who's telling the truth. What else?
That's all.
All right, any other witnesses?
Briefly.
Or any redirect for the witness?
No, briefly, Ms. Slocum.
All right, ma'am, if you'll step back from the podium.
Would you please state your name, spell your last name?
Vicki L. Reeves, R-E-E-V-E-S.
Were you also known as Vicki L. Slocum at one
Yes,
point?
sir.
On February 15th, 1998, were you involved in an altercation with Mr. Risinger?
Yes, sir, I was.
You've heard Ms. Martin's testimony regarding the windshield being broken of a car. How did that get broken?
She punched it with me sitting in the front seat of the car. I sat right there and watched her do it.
I don't have anything else.
All right, and any questions for this witness from you?
Yes, she was saying that I was punching you. Was I punching?
Scope, Judge?
I'd like to answer it, though.
Well, it's not really necessary, so I'm gonna agree with the state. Any other witnesses for the state? Okay, Mr. Reisner, it's your turn. If you want to, you can present witnesses or testify yourself. You don't have the duty to present any evidence whatsoever. So, what did you want to do?
What, can I ask Vicky questions?
Yes?
Okay, when we were out the door and we were struggling, What was going on?
I grabbed a $5 bill out of his pocket. He was laying on the couch. Came outside to try to get it. He never hit me. He grabbed me by the arm and tried to get the money. She ran up and kicked him, and that's when he punched her. Then she went back to her car, got in the car, and was mad and punched the windshield right in front of her and said, "You can't tell Jim because he's going to be mad." 2 days later, I got a phone call from her when I moved out saying, "I can't believe you didn't lie for me. I lied for you." That was the last time I spoke to this girl. Next thing I heard, she's wanting to beat me up. That was the last thing I heard about the whole thing. I'm married to somebody else. I don't, you know.
Okay, any other questions for this witness?
There's another witness that's back here that prosecutor called.
Okay, you can call that witness if you
Okay,
want
I'd
to.
like
Do you have
to
any
call Jim,
questions for
please.
Ms. Slocum?
Yes, Judge.
Wait a minute, she's got questions for Ms. Slocum. Call him back.
You were there to pick up some clothes to leave, isn't that correct?
At which time?
February 15th, 1998, when you went with Miss Martin, you were there to pick up clothes to
She
leave.
dropped me off. She dropped me off and left. My father came and picked me up.
She dropped you off and left, so now you're saying she wasn't even there to kick anybody.
And no, she was there earlier that day. She came and picked me up. We went back, and she dropped me off. My father, I wish he was here, because he took me over to her house to pick up my engagement ring.
You were there to pick up some clothes from Miss Martin, is that correct?
No, I stayed there. He was in jail. My father came and got me. She never took me nowhere except back to my house.
On February 15th.
Yeah, she dropped me off.
What were you going to do there?
I went to get my stuff. I lived with him. I packed everything I owned and I moved out.
So you were there to pick up your clothes and leave, is that correct?
Yes.
Why were you leaving?
Because I got 2 domestic violences on me and now he's got one. I don't need this. That's why. I've got enough crap going on in my life.
Isn't it true you were leaving because he had beaten you the day previously?
No.
Did you tell law enforcement officers that he beat you the day previously and that he beat you on the 15th?
I told you that I had been drinking that night and I don't know what I told them. I told you that when I first walked in here.
I'm going to show you what purports to be your written statement from that day. Do you recognize it?
I recognize the handwriting.
Would you like to go ahead and take the time to go ahead and read it to yourself?
You asked me about the 15th. You didn't ask me about the 14th.
Did you have a chance to read the entire statement?
Mm-hmm.
In your written statement, did you write that Mr. Risinger had beaten you on the 14th and that's why you were leaving?
He did hit me that night, okay?
On the 15th, did you write in your statement that you had gone over with Miss Martin to pick up some clothes to leave?
Yes.
Did you thereafter write that he, meaning Mr. Risinger, attacked you? Then your friend tried to help you and he punched her and threw something at the car and broke the windshield.
I'm telling you, I'll be honest with you, okay? I ate a bunch of Xanax that day, and I couldn't tell you anything about what I wrote. I tried to tell you that when I came in here.
Did you write that?
Apparently so. It's my handwriting.
That was done the same day that this incident happened, correct?
Yes.
And today you're saying that on that day you were on all kinds of medication, correct?
Yes.
But you want the court to believe that you and Miss Martin made it up on that day.
I'm not going to argue about it. I'm telling you the truth. That's all I'm saying. I did lie
Which time?
that. I lied that day, like a rug. Okay? And so did she.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
Do you have any other questions for her?
What was the reason that she wanted you to lie to the cops about this report on me?
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay. I was there.
I'll let her answer it. Go ahead,
It's
answer it.
because her boyfriend was going to be mad because she punched her windshield. It was right in front of the driver's seat. I was in the passenger seat, she was in the driver's seat. She drove me around to some of my friends' house too that day. That's where I got the Xanax from. That's why I don't remember this report. Ask her if she remembers that.
Okay, anything else? Any other questions for this witness?
No.
All right.